We're going to do a season review of team RCB because they played no further part in IPL 2019. We've got Dan with us, of course. So Dan, we'll start with you. Death bowling worst in 2018 and 2019 for RCB, and that's an area they really need to address. Right?
Can we repeat last year's review or?
No.
Well, I think you need to split the season in half,
Plug and
don't
play,
you? I mean, when they win 5 out of 8 with a rain out, maybe in the back half of the tournament. So it was the first half of the tournament let them down. I think we discussed yesterday about how difficult it is to bowl death at Chinnaswamy, and maybe there's an opportunity to look at that. I suppose more skilled bowler, someone with a bit of trickery. Because at the moment RCB really rely on execution, and it's so difficult to execute at Chinnaswamy because of the nature of the pitch and because of the size of the ground. So a lot of the time Saini needs to bowl perfect Yorkers, Umesh has to bowl perfect Yorkers, Siraj in the past, Tim Southee. So maybe they'll look into that bowler who can offer them something a little bit different. I know Bumrah's come in there and done well, Bhuvanesh Kumar, those are two of the best, so it's unfair to say just go and get one of those, but it may be something with someone with a little bit different to offer them.
Let's go a little fantasy. If there was one bowler you would want who could solve their death bowling issues.
Yeah, Bumrah, isn't it? I mean, at the moment, it's hard to go past him.
Bumrah and Stark. Just get those two in and you'll be fine.
Bowls in all conditions. But they do lack a leader, I think. And although Umesh is experienced, there's always a little bit of pressure. Saini is obviously their standout performer this year. Hopefully, he can keep growing in confidence because he can bowl at different stages of the innings. And it's a tough place to bowl. But they need a leader. I mean, even Dale Steyn, when he was there for a couple of games, did create that impact. Got early wickets. Or just someone with a calmer, experienced head who's done it in different situations before is what they lacked most of the season. I mean, Southee didn't have a great season. Southee could have been one of those guys. Form wasn't great. Otherwise, he's got the ability to then carry the attack. I think if they have someone that sort, because the Indian bowlers, all of them have got good ability.
I think they have to set their expectations in the right way as well. It's not going to be easy to bowl there, so you're not going to get it right every time. And so the likes of Southee, who's done it for such a long period of time, those sorts of guys need to be given some opportunities to be able to do it time and time again, because it's tricky. It's really tricky there. And if you look through all the records, no one really bowls death that well. So when you've got guys who are actually experienced at it, you probably need to give them opportunities. And so they set their expectations, what's realistic, what's a good result of the death, rather than we were the worst, but being the worst may be better than it was the previous year.
Point. So in a sense, you're saying that you're going to get smashed in the death, so you make up for it in the power play and the middle overs, and of course that's where you make up for the entire.
I think a little bit. I think you're always looking to improve. Right? There's no doubt about that. It's just the way you're trying to improve, and because, like I said before, the execution has to be nigh on perfect to succeed there. Maybe you need to skin it in a different way.
Right, now over to point number 2, and this point has been coming your way for I don't know how many years. I've got tired of saying it. Over-reliance on AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli. 2018 contribution with the bat, 43% for the two of them, the others 53, do the math. 2019, 41% this time, others contribution 55. You've got two great players, so it's pretty evident that they're going to contribute with the bat for that much amount. It's the knockdown, right? And what happens after
that? I mean, it's not a bad thing if both of them get 800 runs every season. It solves the problem. You don't need anyone else to get runs. This year we saw in particular, I mean, that last game is a perfect example. I think to start trusting other people, maybe believing in other guys can do it. Hetmeyer, hopefully there are more opportunities coming his way. Gurkirat again, that's as good an innings as you can see under pressure.
In between.
Yeah, under pressure, but maybe it's a template that they need to follow next year. I don't know how they go about it, whether both Virat and AB de Villiers, it's hard to let go of any of them from that team when you have that sort of quality. But it'll be interesting to see whether they look for any options, if there's some sort of trading done somewhere. Because at the end of the day, you've seen these two guys have been playing for them for a while, and they made finals before. On back of Virat's 1,000-run season or something, or 900-run season. But you can't win tournaments with two people. You need a squad, and the other teams have shown them that one or two guys are not enough to win you tournaments. They'll win you games still, but they can't. So you've got to, and there are options there. Suddenly, these two, the way they played tonight, look to be really promising options.
I'm going fantasy again with you, sir. If you had to solve their batting issues, one pick you would want next season.
Well, first of all, I'd rather over-rely on Kohli and de Villiers than not have them. That would be my starting point. One batsman. You want opening batsman who can bowl death bowling. Who does that?
All the best.
Andre Russell. Yeah, just chuck him in to open and he can bowl some death as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it's hard. It's not. I mean, not wrong to have reliance on them.
Yeah, I think they've
yeah.
got a good squad. Like a lot of teams, they've all got good squads. I think the thing for them is there's this perception that if de Villiers and Kohli don't fire, then the whole team has no chance. And I think if they can break that perception, and they started tonight with that, with Hetmeyer and Gukurac playing so well, so they've just got to feed off that as much as they can, keep building up the other guys while still expecting the typical performance from AB and Virat, which is generally exceptional year after year.
Maybe also just keep trusting your 11s.
Yeah.
Even if you had a few losses, which is much easier for me to sit here and say it, and much harder when you're there to keep doing it. But when you know that a certain player has the ability to at some stage come good, maybe give him a longer rope.
In broadcasting terms, I mean, you can have a good show with 2 experts, but you can have an amazing show with 3 guys coming together and making some good television. Right now, our final review is on poor fielding. And Shimron Hetmeyer was dropped on 60, went on to score 15 more runs. Game went into the final over. If you would have got him for those 15 runs, things could have been very different, Dan.
Well, I think it's catching.
Yeah.
It's catching. I think catching defines all team season, and you see that statistic up there. They're right down the bottom, and I think it doesn't take much to improve it. It's 4 or 5 catches over the course of the season. But look, these teams work so hard on this. It's almost the focal point of every training session. All 8 teams do everything they can around fielding. So therefore, it always comes down to pressure, and there's a lot of pressure playing at Chinnaswamy in terms of the crowd, a lot going on at the death, the ball flying everywhere. So it's not easy, but there's a simple way to improve things. You know, if RCB had taken their catches, they're probably in the playoffs. It's as simple as that. And so they'll be able to, I suppose, help themselves get through missing out through saying, well, these are the improvements, these are the ways we can get better, and they're relatively simple.
If someone's dropping so many catches like that, I mean, you're going back to the drawing board. I know you're saying it's pressure, but are there ways to improve it beyond the obvious, which is going back to the field, working on your catching, being a lot more sure of yourself on the field?
Well, I think the starting point is if you ever see someone drop a catch in the field, they're probably going to take 100 at practice. So
yeah.
they'll catch them all. So it's never about the skill or the competency. It's about dealing with that pressure. And I suppose that's a different factor. Everyone deals with that differently. And it's probably not repeat offenders. It's one person doing it one game, then taking a brilliant catch. So it's hard to put more pressure on someone to say, you've made a mistake, here's your remedial catching, here's your remedial psychology lesson. So it's to deal with pressure. It's a tricky balance.
Yeah, but that's one facet of the game which is a controllable in a sense. I mean, batting bowling form still varies. Yeah, there's pressure, but the lesser, you saw that stat, about 25 catches, I think, that the stat we showed.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a few tough ones in there, but that's a lot of catches to be dropping when your team's not playing well. That's the one thing you can help your bowlers in a tough ground like the Chinnaswamy, where anyway, I mean, it's harder once you keep giving batters opportunities by dropping catches. It's going to make your job even harder. So that is definitely one thing that RCB more than any other team needs to improve.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.